in Germany and Spain. We will be elaborately talking about their preparations for these important tours ahead of the Asian Games. I request all of you to please keep yourself on, and we will come to you when you have a question. Saurabh, please keep your mic on mute. Yes. Whoever has a question, please either raise your hand or leave a message on the chat box so that we can come to you. Coach, I just would like to begin with you. Your first thoughts on the team that has been selected for Germany and Spain. We also have some youngsters making the squad, namely Jyoti Chatri, who you were saying will make a debut in the tour. Could you please elaborate on team selection, please?
Yeah, look, I think, the girls are doing really well, and we have had a good tour in Australia, and then of course I went with the junior team to Japan for the Junior Asia Cup and was able to see some of the players in action there close by. I just think our core group is getting stronger and stronger, and I think that's great because that means the level of training is higher, and that means that everyone has to perform. And I also know from some of the athletes what they will bring to the team, and for me, it's also an opportunity now to maybe try something new with Jyoti Chatri, who is very talented, and to see, what would she bring in the senior team at that highest level. At the same time, of course, we have very good players that can always jump in. So that's what I also told the team. It's not necessarily the case that the people that go now on tour, that they all will make it to the Asian Games, or that someone that didn't make it for this tour is not going to the Asian Games. So I think I'll use it as another development opportunity to really see where we are and what we need to do to be at our best in the Asian Games.
Right. Thanks, Coach. We have first question from Mona. Mona is with PTI Bhasha. She's a very senior journalist based in Delhi and has covered a lot of hockey in the last 2 decades. So Mona, go ahead. Mona, you're able to unmute yourself and ask the question. Mona, you're able to unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, we seem to be having some trouble with Mona's mic. I move on to Saurabh Gupta. Saurabh has a question. Saurabh, you can go ahead with your question.
हेलो
Yes, Saurabh, please go ahead.
मेरा क्वेश्चन सविता से है
जी।
हाँ सविता जी, अभी एशियन गेम्स होने वाले हैं, और तो जो ये आपका दौरा है जर्मनी और ये वाला, तो इससे आपको कितनी मदद मिलेगी और अपनी किन कमजोरियों पे आप ध्यान देने वाले हैं? आपको लगता है कौन सी ऐसी कमजोरी आपकी टीम में जिस पे आपको सबसे ज्यादा ध्यान देना चाहिए?
ओके, डेफिनेटली ये टूर हमें हेल्प करेगा एशियन गेम्स के लिए, और कभी भी हम वीक वर्ड यूज नहीं करते हैं अपनी टीम के लिए, कोई भी कमजोरी जैसा वर्ड की। हाँ, हमेशा रूम फॉर इम्प्रूवमेंट रहता है। तो डेफिनेटली वो हमारा, जैसे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में था, हमें पता था कि किन चीजों पे काम करना है, वो हमें टाइम मिला अभी काम करने के लिए। देन हम अभी जर्मनी के साथ मैचेस हैं, और उसके बाद में स्पेन के में जो फॉर्मेशन है वहाँ अच्छी टीमों के साथ मैच है। तो लेट्स सी कि कैसा रहता है, और उसके बाद स्टिल हमारे पास 1-1.5 महीना है एशियन गेम्स के लिए, और वो हम ट्रेनिंग में भी वही सेम माइंडसेट रखते हैं कि एवरी ट्रेनिंग सेशन अपने आप को और एज ए टीम हम कैसे इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं।
हाँ सविता, ये सवाल हो रहा है कि अक्सर देखा जाता है, चाहे वो ओलंपिक का मैच हो, बड़ी टीमों के खिलाफ हम लोग आखिरी पे हम लोग हार जाते हैं या पजल हो जाते हैं। तो मानसिक तौर पे अपने आप को मजबूत करने के लिए बड़ी टीमों के खिलाफ बड़े मैच में कोई अलग रणनीति आप लोग अपनाने जा रहे हैं या कुछ पे काम कर रहे हैं?
मेरे ख्याल से पिछले 2-3 साल से जब भी हम आफ्टर ओलंपिक्स जब भी टॉप टीम्स के साथ मैच खेले हैं, इवन प्रो लीग में हम मैच खेले हैं, उसके बाद वर्ल्ड कप खेले हैं और कॉमनवेल्थ है, तो कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि बिल्कुल बहुत बिग मार्जिन रहा है। और यही सबसे ज्यादा जो हमारी टीम में एक सबका जो कॉन्फिडेंस आया है, टीम में जो इंडिविजुअल और एज ए टीम हमने अपना माइंडसेट बनाया है ओपोनेंट को लेके। हाँ, डेफिनेटली अगर ये बात हम 5-6 साल पहले की करें तो ऑफ कोर्स मैटर रखता था कि कौन सी टीम की क्या रैंक है, और हमें थोड़ा अपने आप को अंडर प्रेशर लेते थे और परफॉर्मेंस कहीं ना कहीं उतना अच्छा नहीं रहता था। बट हमारे लिए जब भी इवन आफ्टर ओलंपिक्स और जब से यानिके के साथ उन्होंने हमारे साथ काम किया, हमारे लिए एक ही चीज होती है कि हमें सिर्फ अपनी टीम पे फोकस रखना है। हमारी क्या परफॉर्मेंस है, हमें सिर्फ उतना करना है जो मैच से पहले जो भी जिस भी टीम के साथ मैच होता है उसके अगेंस्ट जो भी हमने प्लान किया होता है वो सिर्फ हम सोचते हैं कि हमें वो फॉलो करना है। और जीत हार तो दोनों तरफ होती है, ऐसा नहीं है कि हमेशा हम बड़ी टीमों को पहले ही अपने आप को अंडर परफॉर्म करते हैं, या फिर समटाइम्स होता है कि बहुत क्लोज मैच रहता है।
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Saurabh. Moving on to the next question, we have Arnab with us from Times of India. He's joining us from Kolkata.
Hi, Coach. Hi, Savita.
Hello.
Good day to you both. Coach, question for you. Got two questions. What was your takeaway from the tour to Australia? And looking ahead into the Asian Games, what would be your focus during the two tour matches?
Yeah, I think, in Australia, we showed that in the first match, we needed a little bit more time and we hadn't played for a while and it kind of hurt us, I think. And I think overall after that, we were able to play at a quite high level, but not consistent enough. And I think we were not rewarding ourselves enough in terms of creating outcomes. So a big thing for us is to get to the same level of defending that we were able to do at the end of the Australia tour, where I think we defended really well as a team. We were able to delay and keep Australia far from our circle, but at the same time, we created enough 25 entries or circle entries, even penalty corners. And I think this camp we're really focusing on, can we get more goals? Can we get more shots on goal? And can we have more variety in our penalty corner? And that is really something I'm looking to see in this tour as well. So that we know that for Asian Games, we know what to practice in that last camp before.
Thank you. Nandini, can I ask a question to Savita?
Sure, yes.
हाँ, हाय सविता। आप लोग का इस बार का टीम में वो ज्योति है, शी इज अ न्यू कमर फ्रॉम द टीम एंड शी इज कमिंग फ्रॉम विनिंग द जूनियर एशियन टाइटल। तो ये सब मिला के आप लोग को कितना ये कॉन्फिडेंस देता है कि एक द वुमेन्स जूनियर टीम हैव वॉन अ टाइटल, एंड आल्सो इफ यू कैन से समथिंग अबाउट ज्योति।
ओके, डेफिनेटली कैम्प में जैसे इससे पहले भी क्वेश्चन पूछा और हमारी कोच ने वो चीज मेंशन की थी कि अभी कैम्प में इतना कंपटीशन है। एक पहले होता था कि अगर ठीक है मोस्ट ऑफ प्लेयर्स को पता होता था कि ये प्लेयर्स टीम में जाने वाले हैं, बट आज जो दूसरे स्क्वाड है वो भी अपने आप को उतना ही पुश कर रहा है। तो टीम के लिए भी बहुत अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि जब कंपटीशन रहता है तो आप अपने आप को और इम्प्रूव करने का और सोचते हो कि मुझे और परफॉर्म करना है ताकि मैं टीम में आऊँ। और सेम ज्योति के लिए कि जूनियर एशिया कप में हमने देखा, उससे पहले हमारे साथ कैम्प में थी, वो 33 कोर ग्रुप में आई, तभी सभी प्लेयर्स जो बात करते थे उसके अंदर वो क्वालिटी है जो एक सेंटर में खेलते हैं, डिफेंस में भी अच्छा है, अटैक में भी अच्छा है। और एज ए सीनियर प्लेयर हमें बहुत खुशी होती है कि जब ऐसे यंग प्लेयर्स इतना जो एक स्मार्ट क्वालिटी के साथ खेलते हैं वो हमारी टीम में खेलते हैं, तो डेफिनेटली अच्छा लगता है। क्यों नहीं तो अगर हम भी टीम में आए थे, लगा था 3-4 साल टीम में सेट होने के लिए, तो बहुत एक एशिया कप में आप सबने देखा ही है कि जूनियर टीम ने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया और 4-5 लड़कियां हमारे सीनियर स्क्वाड से थी। तो डेफिनेटली पूरी टीम को एक रहता है कि हाँ मुझे डे बाय डे अपने आप को इम्प्रूव करना है, क्योंकि यंग प्लेयर्स भी अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं।
थैंक यू एंड ऑल द बेस्ट।
थैंक यू।
Thanks, Arnab, for your questions. Moving on to Megha. Megha, you can go ahead with your question.
Hi Savita, hi Janneke. I wanted to ask that, looking at the Asian Games ahead, do you think it would have been better if you had maybe a series with either Japan or China after this European tour or ahead of it, looking at the Asian Games?
Yeah, I think we know Japan quite well. I mean, Savi can better answer that. I think we're actually playing China in Germany when we leave next week, so we'll get to see them in person. You know, of course, there would have been opportunities. Unfortunately, I think we did look at our schedule. They looked at their schedule, and it was just a little bit more difficult. China being in the Pro League, being a lot in Europe for us. Yeah, I think we looked at what was best for us, and I think in January playing the Netherlands as the number one in the world provided us with a lot of valuable feedback. Then going to Australia, who play a very fast game. Again, we're looking at ourselves and trying to improve ourselves. I think we know Asia, and the new analytical coach that I have as an assistant, Anthony Ferry, he coached Japan. He was in Asia also for a long time. So I think, it's always a guess, but I think we will be ready for those games.
Hello.
Mona ma'am, just 1 second. She's just finishing answering Megha's questions. I'll just come back to you. Megha, do you have any more questions?
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. Mona ma'am, over to you.
Hi, coach. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So Hockey India has just roped in Paddy Upton as the mental conditioning coach for men's team. Don't you think that women team also need a mental conditioning coach considering the tough assignments ahead?
Listen, I think the mental side of the game is super important. So I think actually I would refer to Savi maybe to answer on that and how we do these things and what is important for our team. It's not that I'm not thinking about it or not having asked the question right now. I think for me it's important that we are in the best position to prepare us physically, tactically, technically, and mentally. So I think, Savi, maybe you can tell them how we're doing that and if you guys need something else or more, and go from there.
Yeah, definitely I'll do. Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
जब से ये शायद मैं हर इंटरव्यू में ये चीज मेंशन करती हूँ कि हम फिजिकली और जो भी है कि मेंटली दोनों चीजों को बैलेंस करके चलते हैं, और हम वीक में 3 टाइम यानेके के साथ हमारा जब भी हमारी मीटिंग होती है उससे 20 मिनट पहले हमारा माइंडफुलनेस सेशन होता है, और इंडिविजुअल भी किसी को लगता है कि ओके मुझे एवरीडे करना है तो उस पर भी काम कर रहे हैं। तो ये चीज ठीक है मेंस के लिए शायद अभी है, बट हम ये चीज कंटिन्यू काम कर रहे हैं, और हमारे कोच ने हॉकी इंडिया को सजेस्ट भी किया है और उन्होंने भी बोला कि ओके ठीक है आपको कौन चाहिए वो हम देखते हैं, बट ये नहीं है कि उनके आने के बाद ये चीज पे ध्यान दिया जाए। हम कंटिन्यूसली इस चीज पे काम कर रहे हैं, और एक जो फील्ड प्लेयर होता है जैसे यानी कि खुद खेली हुई है, ओलंपिक्स 2 टाइम्स खेले हुए हैं, तो वो प्रेशर को कैसे हैंडल करना है, एक प्लेयर अगर नर्वस है तो उसको कैसे ऊपर लेके आना है, अगर आप कंटिन्यू 4 मैच अच्छा कर रहे हो तो उसके बाद अपने आप को कैसे कंटिन्यूसली टूर्नामेंट में रखना है, वो सब चीजें हमें यानी कि से काफी हेल्प मिलती है, और शायद हम उस चीज को बहुत ऐसा मिस नहीं करते हैं कि हमारे पास ये नहीं है।
अच्छा सविता, एक सवाल आपसे भी है मेरा। ऑस्ट्रेलिया दौरे के बाद आप लोग लगातार कैंप में हैं और कैंप में रिगरस ट्रेनिंग हो रही होगी आई एम श्योर एशियन गेम्स के लिए, और तो इस बार जो आप इतने साल से टीम में हैं, इस बार जो ट्रेनिंग है एशियन गेम्स के लिए, पिछले एशियन गेम्स में जो हार्ट ब्रेक हुआ था, तो इस बार क्या अलग किया है उससे?
बिल्कुल ट्रेनिंग हमारी हमारी टीम से आप सबसे कभी आके मिलोगे वो बताएंगे, जब से यानी कि हमारे साथ आई है शायद हमारे कोई भी कैंप ऐसा नहीं जाता है कि जिसमें हार्ड ट्रेनिंग नहीं होती है, और डेफिनेटली प्लेयर की रिकवरी भी देखी जाती है, बट काफी हाई इंटेंसिटी में हम ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं। और जो हमारा हॉकी में जो अभी जो वुमेन्स टीम में जो सबसे ज्यादा जिस चीज पे काम किया जा रहा है और जो टीम अच्छा कर रही है वो हमारी अटैकिंग हॉकी है, और काफी स्पीड के साथ हम जो हमारे अटैक हैं वो बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है, और सेम पेनल्टी कॉर्नर अटैक और डिफेंस पे भी बहुत ध्यान दिया जा रहा है। और पूरे कैंप में ये क्वेश्चन मैंने पहले भी उस चीज का आंसर किया गया था कि पहले ऐसे होता था कि ओके 20-22 प्लेयर्स हैं जो एक लगता था कि हाँ इनमें से ही कोई टीम में आने वाला है, बट आज पिछले 6 महीने से स्पेशली ऐसा है कि किसी का नहीं पता कौन टीम में आने वाला है, क्योंकि सब अपने आप को बहुत पुश कर रहे हैं और एवरी सेशन में अपने आप को दिखाते हैं कि हाँ मैं अपना बेस्ट कर रहा हूँ। तो डेफिनेटली कोच के लिए डिफिकल्ट होता है कि टीम को सिलेक्ट करना, क्योंकि जब कंपटीशन रहता है तो आपको एवरी सेशन में परफॉर्म करना पड़ता है। तो काफी हाई इंटेंसिटी में ट्रेनिंग हो रही है अभी होपफुली। और अभी भी हमारे पास टाइम है कि स्पेन और जर्मनी का टूर है, वहां पे हम देखते हैं अपने आप को कि क्या हमारा जो हमने कंटिन्यू जो अच्छा किया कंटिन्यू करना और क्या चीज है जो हमारे पास
Thank you so much and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mona. Thanks, Savi, for elaborately answering that question. I'm still waiting for a few more questions from media. Anyone has a question, please do raise your hand. Okay, we have Kalyani from the New Indian Express. She has a question for Jan. Kalyani, you can go ahead. You can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. First of all the best, coach and captain for the Asian Games. Coach, around the junior team for their recent victory, and as we know, players are making it to the senior side also. Given you have seen closely that team, what are your views on future of especially when the players will move from the junior team to senior team? What's the future of this team looks like, and will that junior team and the success will let India to more success at the international tournaments?
Of course, that's what we want, right? So, for me, I think there's definitely a lot of talent. I think, and I hope that the junior team got a little bit of a taste of what is needed to win a big tournament like that. And I think they were very good in learning along the way. So they made steps every game, every day. We invested a lot of time in creating team unity, in talking about tactics, in talking about, what is important under pressure. And I think, the step to the senior team is big. But if they are willing to work hard, and if they're willing to say, look, these are my strengths, this is what I want to do, this is how I see it, then I definitely think that there's quite a few in that team that can make the step. And of course, 5 of them are already in the senior team, but there's definitely other players that can make that step too. But as I think they now know, it requires a lot of commitment, a lot of hard work, a lot of understanding of the game. And I think they realized that that comes from within, so that they have to do the work, that they cannot just look at their coaching staff or anyone else, but they have to want to do it. And then I think there's lots of people here, including the senior players, that want to help them to make that last step.
Thank you very much and all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kalyani. So we just circling back to this tournament in Spain. The team is playing England, the host Spain, as well as South Africa. And over the last 2 years, particularly, we've seen this nice rivalry being built, with the English team as well as Spain. You guys lost to them very closely in the World Cup last year as well. So I just want to understand, what is the mindset of the team before going into this tournament where even the men's team are playing at the same time?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, I think now we are just really want to play against the good teams, and that's why before going every tournament, we in our team very good atmosphere. Like, okay, we want to go there, we want to play against good teams, and Spain or England, I think दोनों ही top teams में से आती हैं, और इसीलिए कुछ खोने का ऐसा नहीं होता कि ओके क्या रहेगा, बट अपने आप को कि ओके हमें मैच बाय मैच इम्प्रूव करना है और अपने आप को देखना है, और काफी क्लोज मैच रहता है। इवन जब उन टीम्स के साथ खेलने के बाद जो फीडबैक हमें जो मिलता है, उससे और भी ज्यादा टीम में कॉन्फिडेंस आता है कि ओके नाउ गुड टीम आल्सो दे आल्सो वांट टू प्ले विद अस। सो एक बहुत अच्छा मेंटली और फिजिकली भी एक अलग एनर्जी रहती है जब भी हम टॉप टीम्स के साथ खेलते हैं। पहले होता था कि ओके उनकी रैंक ये है तो शायद हमें बहुत ज्यादा हार्ड वर्क करना पड़ेगा, बट आज तो ये नहीं है कि हम इंजॉय कर रहे हैं, हम उनके सर्कल में शायद आज से 5-10 साल पहले की बात करें तो होता था कि शायद उनके सर्कल में 3 बार गए हैं और वो हमारे में शायद 15 टाइम्स आए हैं। आज इक्वल नंबर है, चाहे वो पीसी कॉर्नर है, चाहे वो शॉट ऑन गोल है, चाहे वो सर्कल एंट्री है। तो टीम ने बहुत इम्प्रूव किया है और बहुत एक आज ये होता है कि हमें सिर्फ जो हमारा काम है, हमें हमारी टीम पे फोकस करना है, हम क्या कर सकते हैं, हमें डजेंट मैटर कि हु इज आवर ओपोनेंट। तो वो टीम का जो माइंडसेट चेंज हुआ है उससे टीम को बहुत हेल्प मिला है।
Right, absolutely. And I think that's what I was trying to understand, that the games with these teams particularly have become extremely exciting even for us who are sitting and watching these matches live. So I'm really looking forward to you guys playing against them. We have a question from Shrikant sir. He's with INS based out of Bombay. Shrikant sir's question is to Janneke. He wants to understand, how do you assess the competition in Asian Games? What are the areas your team needs to work on to tackle that challenge?
Yeah, I think from learning, or a little bit the team that everyone's looking at, we're the highest ranked team obviously in Asia currently. That means that some of the Asian teams typically look at us to set the pace and adjust their style of play to ours. I think what we're trying to do is to be versatile. So we know what the tendencies are that China is using to play. Same for Korea, Japan, Malaysia. And for us, it's just executing our own principles well, sticking to our game plan, understanding what these teams want to do. And it might be that we have a little bit more of the ball and that they are looking to, counter us with a lot of speed. I think that is one of the potential dangers that there might be, that they'll give us the ball, but actually want to counter. And I think we need to be ready for that. And that's something we are training a lot. At the same time, I think, like I said, I believe in our team. I believe in our strengths. And I think if we can execute our game plan and play to our principles and know what we want to do, then I think those teams will have to adapt just the same.
Thanks, Coach. Just another question. I was talking to Savita earlier during the Hockey Te Charcha podcast, where she was talking about how winning the Asian Games would be an ideal scenario for the team in the lead up to Paris Olympics, wherein after the Asian Games, you will be playing in the Pro League. After your win in the Nations Cup, you've got a direct entry into the Pro League, which will allow you to test combinations, test your players and play against some of the top teams in the world ahead of Paris Olympics. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that?
Look, I think, this year has shown us a little bit how much more difficult it is to get quality opponents because of the Pro League and because of the busy schedule that most teams have. I think we were extremely fortunate that Australia was willing to host us in between their Pro League season. We, of course, played Holland just in January before their season started. And I think you only get better if you play against the high quality opponents. We can train as hard as we want and our level is going up. But for us to understand what the highest level is, you have to play against the highest level. You have to play against those different teams. And the Netherlands gives a different, challenge than Argentina does, than New Zealand does, than Germany does, than Belgium does. And I think that's the uniqueness of Pro League. And I think if I look at last year, how much value that brought us, our team, and how much experience the girls got from basically just playing those games, I think that will be very important in the lead up to the Olympics. And I think, yes, the ideal scenario is winning the Asian Games, and we're trying really hard to do that. And, then what's next? We'll see what's next, because then, in the end, we're only looking at ourselves. And, I want us to be the best we can be. And I think if we can be our best, then we have a very good chance of doing great in the Asian Games and also in the Pro League and after.
Right, fantastic. And there's a question from Anish. He is with ESPN. He just wants to understand. I think from the social media posts, they've seen that Rupinder was there working with the junior side. I think for drag flicking. They just want to understand whether he will be spending some time with the women's team as well in the lead up to the Asian Games.
Well, they got the information wrong, actually. I think Rupinder has been with our team now twice. So I actually specifically had asked him, and the first time I think he was here in April, and he worked with our drag flickers and then also joined the junior team. So he did both, but he actually just left. He was here for 10 days at the start of our camp and worked with our drag flickers again. And yeah, Rupinder is great. I must say the girls are really happy. I'm really happy. I think he's a good drag flick coach, and he is, I think, someone that I hope we can have in our camp and help our drag flickers consistently. It's something he also would like to do, and I think, we're actually chatting this week again if he can join us in August again for a week or 10 days. But yeah, I think that is what our players need, the specific knowledge that he has and the way he's also teaching them. I must say, I'm really happy with. He's very calm. He is really looking at their own skill and really focusing on what the different individuals have to improve. So yeah, I think he's doing a great job, and I hope he continues to do that with our team.
Fantastic. Savi, do you want to add to that? I know he probably will be working more on PC attack, but it'll be worth to watch him take a drag flick and you in the goal post.
No, not really. But yeah, पूरी टीम, इवन जैसे यान ने बताया कि उनके आने के बाद से तीनों प्लेयर्स जो हमारे 3 ड्रैग फिकर हैं, दीपिका, ग्रेस एंड गुरजीत, तीनों की हम एज ए गोलकीपर हम उनको फीडबैक देते थे कि जो स्पीड में जो इम्प्रूवमेंट आई है, और इवन रुपिंदर को भी मैं बोल रही थी कि आपको हम चाहते हैं कि एशियन गेम तक आप यहाँ पे स्टे करो। तो जो उनका सिखाने का तरीका था, सेम लाइक ऑलरेडी आई एम जस्ट एक्सप्लेनिंग व्हाट यान सेड, आई एम टोटली एग्री विद यान, लाइक ही इज डूइंग रियली गुड। गर्ल्स बहुत हैप्पी थी, और वो ये कहे कि ओके नेक्स्ट वो कब आएंगे, क्योंकि वो थोड़े टाइम में बहुत ज्यादा चेंज देखने को मिला उनके ट्रैक फ्लिक में, तो वो हमें बहुत हेल्प मिलेगा।
Right, fantastic. Thanks so much. I think no more questions from the media. Okay, sorry, 1 second. There's Saurabh Deep who has a question, I think.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hello, Janneke. Hello, Savita. My question is to Janneke. Janneke, Savita said that even few years ago, we used to, fear the opponents in terms of their rankings and all, which has completely changed. So I want to ask you, how did you inspire these girls to, to have a complete cultural shift so that they can now just play according to their will? They just think only about themselves, not about the opponent. So what was your role in that? And or how easy you found it when you took up the job?
Maybe Savi's better to answer that, in the sense that, I am of course a coach from a country and from the Netherlands myself as a player, where we are taught from a very young age that you have to believe in yourself, you have to do the job yourself, you have to have an opinion. I think the Dutch people are quite direct in that respect. And I'm a coach, actually, and I've developed that, where I really believe in, building a culture of unity, a culture of doing things together, of bringing your value to the team. And for that to happen as a player, you need to look at yourself and say, okay, what is that value that I have? Do I believe in myself? And I think maybe the biggest thing I said in the first 2 weeks when I joined was, I said, I'm nervous too. I was nervous too when I played, and I think the majority looked at me, how can you be nervous? You play for the Netherlands. Like, yeah, but I was extremely nervous. I think I felt a ton of pressure, and I think you'd never know, and you don't know what you don't know. So by normalizing maybe what you feel, what you think, I think we made a step in saying, look, all those things are part of sports, are part of high performance sports, and it's not great, it's not nice, the feeling isn't what you want it to be, but we can deal with that. And actually, we can show ourselves. And it doesn't really matter what the other team brings. We want to be there the way we know we can be. And I say to them all the time, I can tell you now, I can't guarantee that we win the Asian Games. What I can guarantee you all is that we will try our very best and we will fight our hardest fight to get there. And we'll do it together and we'll never give up. And I know that all the players will do that, and I know they'll all contribute and bring their own piece to that game plan. And I think that's the only thing that I want, and that is what I try to instill in them.
Thank you very much, and best of luck to you and Savita as well for the upcoming tour and Asian Games. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Saurabh. So that was the last question. No more questions from the media. Thanks both. Thanks, Janneke and Savi, for joining us today, and all the very best for the tours in Germany and Spain.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.